Hello, my name is Emily LeBlanc. As he said, I'm actually a PhD student at Drexel University studying artificial intelligence and knowledge representation applied to materials science. Now, although I was born in the United States, my family did come here through Canada, so I thought that was worth mentioning. So today, I'll be talking about my paper about ontologies and rich metadata for materials scientific data analysis. The development of materials has had immeasurable impact on the advancement of human civilization. The understanding and exploiting of performance characteristics has helped to mitigate some of society's greatest challenges, such as poverty, human health and welfare, and clean energy. Currently, it takes approximately 20 years for a newly discovered material to make it to commercial deployment. In 2011, the United States launched the Materials Genome Initiative, a multi-agency effort with the aim of cutting that time in half. The original white paper identified 7 steps that a material needs to go through in order to reach the deployment stage. And those steps include discovery, development, property optimization, systems design and integration, certification, manufacturing, and finally, deployment. Ensuring data transparency and integration is crucial for the streamlining of the discovery process. Scientists require access to the largest possible data sets on which to base their models. Many materials science databases exist, and unfortunately, just as many, if not more, unique formats exist for both queries and results. And I have a couple examples. The Harvard University Clean Energy Project has a very large database of organic chemicals for researching solar energy. Their interface allows you to search in a number of ways. You can search by parameters describing performance of solar cells or energy levels, or if you have a better idea of what you're looking for, you can search by name and or substructure of molecules. University of Tokyo, MatNavi, is another very large materials database which is broken up into categories. Each database is searched individually. In one, you may search by parameters describing material or chemical characteristics, and in another, you may navigate through a directory tree. So you can see that there's a big difference in the way that you can ask for and interpret materials science data. So now imagine that you're materials science and you're dealing with all of these data resources. You can imagine that your research process may be slowed down by a very time-consuming process of navigating this search space. So how can we improve the process so that more time can be spent on development, design, testing, and eventually deployment? So one answer is a federated database system. As I assume all of you know, such a system defines an architecture and interconnects data resources. So we're looking for a standard model for information exchange among materials science databases. A simple software solution can help to expedite the research process, but we can do better. We propose the development of a content-based materials science discovery network. This network has 2 main components, the first being a sophisticated ontological framework overlaying materials science databases. And second is a content-based network that's allowing for the intelligent routing of scientific content. A materials science ontology provides terms, relationships, and the structure necessary to model the domain. Metadata would be associated with all content in the databases, and a well-defined ontological structure will aid in the discovery of relationship between content. So in this figure, we have 2 representations of materials domain. First, we have a flat representation where it's just basically a list of all of the materials that are known. And we also have an ontologies organized as a hierarchy. So if we submit a query for cobalt alloys to the flat representation, we'll return 0 results. This is because none of the cobalt alloys actually contain cobalt or alloy as a substring. However, if you submit this query to a hierarchical ontology, a reasoner is able to navigate down the tree in order to return the accurate results that you see at the bottom, which are highlighted in a vibrant gray. In content-based networking, content is addressed instead of host machines. A receiver declares interest in a file type. Content providers inject files without knowing the destination, and the network is ultimately responsible for routing the content to the interested parties. So how does this help us with discovering new materials? If we employ the ontology in a content-based network, federating materials science databases, scientists are able to receive relevant and up-to-date information about interests such as materials, experiments, et cetera, via ad hoc queries and subscriptions. And this is how we envision the data flow, in my comment up there. So you imagine there's a group of scientists and they're looking into the development of a new material which they believe to be the hybrid of two existing materials. This group of scientists would formulate a query which is a combination of processing constraints, performance characteristics, and possibly constituent material classification. This query is submitted to the network, at which point the ontology is used to reason over all of the metadata that exists in the network, at which point a list of candidate materials and relevant experiments can be returned to the scientists. Not only can the scientists ask this question once, but they can have a persistent subscription that allows them to receive new information automatically as new data is entered into the system. So how can we take this a little bit further? We also believe that a system such as this is capable of reinforcing big data technologies. Contributions would include reducing reaction times to incoming data and the resulting contextual information, sidestepping some of the high computational cost of running extensive tests on potentially meaningless correlations, and could possibly provide analytical tools with the newest and most fitting data. So in conclusion, we believe that such a system is capable of expediting the discovery of new materials. Further, it can help to uncover deep, meaningful correlations between data sets and among within itself. And we hope that such a system might eventually have an impact on the materials science domain in the future. Thank you.